I would like to go ahead. So welcome to CI/CD as a product. This is a webinar series hosted by CD Foundation. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak on this platform once again. And I'm ready to kick off. So this is a mandatory slide for myself. I am Garima Bajpai, based out of Ottawa, Canada. I have been an industry speaker for digital twin, AI ops, and DevOps, very passionate about DevOps. I am also the co-founder for DevOps Community of Practice in Canada, which has 3 chapters now, Toronto, Ottawa, as well as Edmonton. So very glad that we have added 1 chapter. And I'm also a co-organizer for the DevOps Summit Canada, which happens in the first week of November. So we concluded that summit November 2nd and 3rd. Exciting opportunities are coming up from that. I'm also ambassador with Continuous Delivery Foundation and ambassador with DevOps Institute. So let's quickly get started with today's call to action. And this is one of my favorite topics for 2021, how CI/CD landscapes looks like. So let's talk about 2021 and beyond. I love to actually start my conversation regarding CI/CD with, where the grassroots journey began. And there are multiple perspectives on what continuous integration, delivery, and deployment is. I would present my perspective for the sake of this talk and then build a dialogue from there. So continuous integration is a practice of merging all developers' working copies in a shared mainline several times a day. And this practice was actually started by a discussion by Grady Booch. First, he proposed this term called CI in his 1991 work, but he did not advocate integrating several times a day. So integrating several times a day comes as a best practice to me. So if you think about continuous integration in today's term, some of the characteristics of continuous integration would be frequency of commit, automated build, run on production-like environment, and version control repositories and CI servers. And of course, all this is also changing as we speak because, the concept of commits, automated builds, as well as environment is also evolving, right? So we will talk about it in the later slides. Now, it's also equally important to understand what continuous delivery would mean in this context. And I would put a business definition on continuous delivery, which is software is always in releasable state. So this is again a practice, a software engineering practice, where we approach software from a short cycles perspective. So we build incremental software, ensuring that the software can be reliably released at any time. And when releasing the software, we have 2 options: doing it manually as well as automatically, right? So this is the grassroots journey. Of course, some perspectives have changed and we are evolving. So we will see how this definition is also changing, right? And what is the landscape for 2021? When we come to continuous deployment, I go about with the definition of Martin Fowler, which is basically, and this is again, from a business perspective, what it means is we have given a choice to business to release on demand. So keeping it as simple as that. Of course, this is a debatable discussion. There are various definitions, but for the sake of this conversation today, we stick to this and we build this idea from here. Now, because I'm a DevOps advocate, you would also look forward for integration, right? How CI/CD and DevOps are connected together. So from my perspective, DevOps is a collective journey towards evolution of software practices. And the software practices which we are talking about, continuous integration, delivery, and deployment, are some of the practices which we are evolving through DevOps. And history reminds us that it's a experimentation-based movement. It's from the practitioners by the practitioners. It's DevOps is not a product, framework, specification, or a job title. It's an experience-based movement, as I said, decentralized and open to all. It's important that we build this discussion from this definition so that we will have a fair bit of clear understanding on how things will change for 2021 and why. One other aspect I would also like to reflect is what DevOps is enabling is it's creating teams that win through collaboration, through lean, sharing, automation, and measurement. And if you look back on what we have discussed so far from CI/CD perspective, all this makes sense. You know, if you are branching out your code and remerging your code and working simultaneously on multiple features, you need collaboration. Also, you need to have to set clear goals, set clear priorities. You know, you automatically are breaking down the silos of lateral, horizontal, and hierarchical barriers which you have, and you would need cross-functional teams which have naturally aligned, right? Automation makes sense, right? Because you need to understand the critical flow, you need to complement it with tooling and upskilling, and most important is to model integrity in the system while becoming more transparent and consistent. I also would like to highlight one last aspect, mechanism to communicate and analyze how improvements have helped us. So if we are including continuous integration or continuous delivery or continuous deployment, how it has helped us from a business perspective to gain momentum in the right direction. So all these values, the DevOps values, are in a way kind of tightly coupled with what is happening in the CI/CD dimension, right? Now, coming back to the topic of the day, CI/CD manifesto for 2021. And when I actually try to build this dialogue, I would like to see a few elements that, you know, what will happen in 2021. And it's no news to anyone here that innovation will take the center stage. We are seeing more and more businesses, traditional businesses, onboarding to digital platforms, right? So they will need digital solutions. They will need, you know, specific, personalized, customized digital solutions, which means that not only we will see diversity in products and solutions, we'll also see shortening lifespan of these products and features because it's customized, it's tailor-made, and it's personalized, right? So it is tightly integrated with the nonlinear shift of digital transformation and also lifestyle changes of the consumer. The second aspect which will influence the CI/CD manifesto would be that we will have newer data sources which will be available and which matters. And the third aspect would be that not only faster but more valuable features. And how do we account and measure the valuable aspect of a feature would be very interesting discussion. And we will have 19 million developers to collaborate with. So it's not something which we are talking about in our own silos in an enterprise. We have a possibility to bring open source solutions, open source projects, collaborate with these 19 million developers globally. And in addition, you will have machines collaborating with these developers. So I think it becomes very interesting to see how things will change from here and how 2020 landscape would be built up for CI/CD. We also need to understand from a CXO perspective, how what are the factors which CXO is looking at. And we have been discussing these things with various entrepreneurs in Canada. And what we have heard, and we are not alone in this journey, that some of these leaders have expressed that their business adopted agile, but half of the projects are still failing. And you know, to a certain extent, the reason for that is that we were not ready and the practices were not ready. So we were evolving the continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery, and how to bring CI/CD at scale was a question, right? In the past, and still it is. So that is something which we need to look at. Also, as I mentioned, that not just faster but more efficient version of everything, which means that we need to embed value quotient of all the features in how we see our products. And how do we do that is again something which we need to address in 2021 and onwards. Some of the other aspects which will influence how our features would be built up is we are seeing a need of enhancing our footprint for cloud. So multi-cloud environment with on-premise, compute, cloud, and edge capabilities is something which will become reality, and bridging those together would be a challenge, not only from an enterprise perspective, but also from practices perspective, how this will influence our choices, how we will build the CI/CD landscape for these multi-choice environments, right? And lastly, I would say next generation data capabilities. So if you have not started thinking about, machine learning, data engineering, it's time, because I think more and more you will see features around data capabilities. So again, lastly, I would say CI/CD would act as the change agent in all this context, and bringing all this together. So we need to look at from a CI/CD perspective and build up that manifesto for 2021 in accordance to what is happening in the environment and how we are getting influenced by that. So from my perspective, what I see is there are 5 factors which will influence the incremental features for CI/CD. The first aspect is state of continuous compliance, and I will elaborate that in a while. We also see that how we accelerate the AI native product features would become extremely essential for CI/CD dimension to look at and bring incremental features in conjunction with what is happening in that landscape. The third aspect which will influence our choices of incremental features, DevSecOps. And when I say DevSecOps, we should look at our portfolio from cloud, compute, and edge perspective. And how do we bridge that for a multi-capability environment would be very interesting. Fourth aspect would be continuous innovation, how we would enhance the landscape of experimentation through CI/CD. And lastly, DevOps at scale. And you could say that, DevOps at scale would largely mean that how would we not only look at the cultural aspect, but also the technical aspects with continuous integration, delivery, and deployment, happening at scale. And how do we accomplish that? So these are the 5 factors which will influence your choices for incremental features. Now, I will dig deeper into each one of these topics and, specify how I see, the dialogue building up around these 5 choices you have. So first choice is state of DevOps compliance. And when I say state of DevOps compliance, I would refer to a Gartner report published in October 2019, where they have pointed out regulation and contractual obligations under which DevOps practitioners are working are very complicated and diverse. So they have found out that GDPR has influenced 47% of DevOps practitioners, and we are under pressure to adapt to GDPR. And there is no one way or no single answer to it. We also have obligation towards ISO 27001 and compliance bodies like FISMA, HIPAA, PCI DSS. So these are all compliance bodies which we are obligated to work under and also contractually fulfill. what we see from a DevOps perspective is, when we talk about agility, and we bring, all these continuous features faster into the time to market, then we also have a question of, how to deal with these legacy compliances and also next generation compliances. And what if we have to build up and define policies, guidelines for new technological advancements? So I would see that CI/CD landscape for 2021 would be actually getting, some of these answers together, and also start working on this dimension as compliance as code, toolkit for compliance. You will see more and more traction on incremental features around it. So that's something which we are also doing as part of Canada Community of Practice. We have initiated an open source project for this to see how we can collaborate with the governance of continuous compliance as such. So that's the first factor. The second factor which I was talking about is AI native products. And I will again refer to Gartner, and this is a report published in 2020, where Gartner had pointed out, despite of having global impact for COVID-19, 47% of artificial intelligence investments are unchanged or were unchanged. So we can clearly see that AI has come to our rescue with chatbots, with machine learning models, which has helped in one way or the other reopening our economies. So I would actually foresee that more and more incremental features will be built around AI and machine learning. And DevOps practices will help to bring machine learning models to production. We will also build CI/CD pipeline for AI native products. Data engineering practices will be part of your CI/CD pipeline. And we will also have a MOF charts to develop, train, test, deploy, manage, and track machine learning models. We also did a crowd chart through Canada DevOps Community of Practice. This white paper is available for reference. So you can actually make use of this valuable document if you are initiating a project from automation to AI. I also want to refer that we will see a lot of traction on data engineering next year. So data ops will become a reality, and CI/CD practices would come to our rescue in this case, with how we can train the models, how we build concurrent experiments, how the shared and production environments will be built up with elasticity, scaling, and support for compute bursts. That these are things which we need to start thinking about. We also need to have versions of immutable models. So we should have some kind of operational portability of models. These are questions which we will be having to answer in 2021. Some of these incremental features you will already see as building up as soon as next year from a CI/CD landscape. I also wanted to highlight the fourth question which we had in the beginning of the slides, continuous innovation. And I would say that culture of experimentation is something which we will see taking momentum next year. We also see a lot of enterprises measuring their innovations through integration of scores. Governance of open source projects will take priority. Also, you will see a lot of gamification activities, mock-ups, and end user engagements through simulation will take precedence. And if you have a good, well-established CI/CD pipeline, it would come handy to baseline your continuous innovation. We also suggest that there will be like a drive from where we see today enterprises moving from ad hoc innovation to organized innovation. And if you can actually relate to this, you will see that you will have to establish a more a more advanced version of your CI/CD pipeline to support your culture of innovation and experimentation. How it will happen, what kind of incremental features you will get is something which is to be answered yet. But that's something which we see that this is in making. Also, to explore a bit more on this question, we did a crowd chat, Innovate with DevOps, in the Canada community of practice. We got answers to some of these questions that we should be prepared to throw out our 50 to 70% of our new ideas which we develop. So the question would be that how do we actually develop a CI/CD pipeline which would be lean enough so that we do not actually have a lot of waste in the system. We also need to expand our base and look beyond creating secret sauce and embracing open source. So open source governance and how you can build traceability, audit mechanisms through your already existing practices would be interesting. Maturing towards evidence-based understanding of unrealized values. So doing a value score of features, how you will initiate an idea and how do you conceptualize it and how do you realize that idea and what kind of data stories you will have around to make decisions is would also be prominent. And lastly, I would say that value restructuring, which we have been talking about from the beginning of this webinar, would take precedence. I cannot end this talk if I do not talk about DevSecOps today and beyond. And again, I refer to the GitLab survey, which happened in 2020, where it actually pointed out that 47% of the companies say testing is the #1 reason for delays. So thinking about testing, I would say that a lot of advanced features which will be developed for CI/CD would also integrating automation testing, integration of intelligent testing, and a shift towards how we can bring artificial intelligence into your continuous testing landscape would be one area which you will see some progress into in 2021. Lastly, I would refer to DevOps Institute Upskilling Report 2020, where we can actually clearly see that DevOps transformation journey is still very difficult for more than 50% of the companies. Agile, DevOps, and ITIL are competing against new practices like SRE. And this is all in making. What we see is from this report, basically scaling DevOps to DevOps at scale is a concept or a mindset which you need to take a shift towards. And how this will be kind of becoming a reality is we have to work on continuous feedback. That is how we can actually scale this. We have to kind of bank upon our initial wins and see how we can scale our landscape for DevOps. It's not one size fit all. There cannot be one CI/CD pipeline initiative. There cannot be like one smart CI/CD pipeline. That's not going to happen. It's a journey. You will see a lot more complexity, and you will also have to kind of look at it from a value dimension. So that's something which will set the next steps for your incremental features. So having had a look at how things are looking like 2021, what are the next steps? You could ask me like, how should we start thinking about our incremental features and what are the next steps? So I would suggest that next generation CI/CD pipeline must have incremental features. And these incremental features should be context driven, looked at from the maturity of an organization where you are today. What I would suggest is define your North Star. Treat your CI/CD pipeline as a product portfolio. Define your North Star. Map your people of your product. You cannot move faster than how your people are embracing this change. Then you also need to set leaders action plan and accelerate the new charter. Now, it's very easy to kind of depict it in a slide, where if you do not have any practical approaches how you would approach these incremental features. And I'm a big fan of gamification. I've been doing gamification workshops for small, medium, big enterprises. And I would suggest, if you want to set the stage for CI/CD for 2021, make a point that gamification can work for you. Gamification is integration of, let's say, game elements like points, systems, leadership boards, patches, and other elements. If you can score your CI/CD pipeline, and you can actually build some kind of an intelligent model around those scores, it would help you identify your incremental features. What do you need? The role of gamification is evolving as we speak, and it's significantly increasing as we move along. So I would also see that if you are onboarding to these kind of gamification challenges, workshops, simulations, you can also integrate it with machine learning, and you can set the perspective of the next incremental features. I would also suggest here that improving purposefulness of deployment of feature is the most important aspect you will be encountering for 2021. We have been discussing a lot on, faster to time to market, how fast we can deliver, how many commits we do per day. That is all relevant. But what you would see more and more is that how valuable and purposeful your features are. And it's not a very easy job to do. Uh, you would actually look at various factors, and you have to be data driven. So that is something which you should be keeping in mind. Customer reliability matters, and it is reflecting that how SRE is picking up. So I believe that, whatever you are doing as an incremental feature for CI/CD, you have to have that at the back of your mind, that how it is increasing customer reliability, and do you have data around customer reliability through these incremental features in your pipeline. Lastly, I would suggest that building data collection quality and governance would matter. So make your CI/CD pipeline auditable, traceable, bring data to a point where you can build data stories for decision making. And lastly, collaborate with various virtual labs. It is important to understand that whatever features you are bringing in should make sense in a larger ecosystem. I would like, we are coming to an end of this talk and this webinar. I would like to create some room for question and answers. But lastly, I would suggest that continuous product-oriented practice, this practice which we had created at Capital Carbon Consulting. And I am an advocate of simplifying things. When I started my talk, we have discussed too many factors influencing the ecosystem choices, right? So if we do not simplify the landscape and try to kind of map these tools and techniques to a simplified approach, we are most likely to fail. So continuous product-oriented practice gives you a very simplistic approach towards what your next features can be. It advocates that you have to answer 3 questions. Is it a good idea? Which means that you need to kind of process this information from a product vision, value radar perspective, and do some research around what products, what features you are producing, how does it map to your user journey, what kind of investment model you have, and how many features you are intending to produce. So all this, answering the first question, is it a good idea, would give you a fair understanding about, how to move around the next incremental features in the CI/CD pipeline. The second question would be, how fast can I deliver? So even if you are thinking about your next features in the pipeline, you should also keep in mind that, how much complexity you're bringing in, and is it like too much value at one step? That's something which you should always keep in mind. And the third question is it a really good idea? So basically, how can you make it value driven? How do you build a continuous product canvas for CI/CD? And this is like continuous product oriented practice can be applied to any kind of product. And if you start thinking about CI/CD as a product, you would be able to apply these tools and techniques which are listed in the left hand side. We have a lot of practical material workshops around this practice. If anybody is interested, I can actually walk you through, or you can get in contact with me. Lastly, I would close this talk with one of my favorite slides, that if an executive would have a magic wand, what the senior executives would do. And this question was actually processed through Oliver Wyman. And there are multiple answers to this particular question. My favorite is, I would launch as many as proof of concepts as possible for new technologies. And this is the answer for building up CI/CD incremental features. If you're thinking about building up incremental features, do launch as many as proof of concepts and try and test this idea through continuous product oriented practice. That's the way to go. So I think this is all what I had for today. Back to you, Jacqueline.
Okay, thanks so much, Garima. Did you see the questions in the Q&A section by any chance?
Who are the key players in the organization that should be brought to the table when automating DevOps and building CD as a product? I like to answer this question very differently. You must have heard about many people talking about leadership, right? So leadership buy-in is important. I would suggest people buy-in. I would say that make people your partner in this journey. If you do not have buy-in from your own employees, people who are actually be using these practices, then it's a waste you're producing. So it has to be, the buy-in has to be from the people.
Okay, any more questions from attendees? Feel free to type them in. Sorry, my dog is snoring in the background. Okay, if not, thank you so much, Garima, for joining us today and hosting this webinar, CI/CD as a product.
And thank you all who could join us today. In case you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. My profile is on Twitter. And yeah, I look forward for all your questions. If you want to know more about continuous product oriented practice, do let us know. We can organize a separate discussion with you all. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.